Let's look at an example. So we looked at that Howard Dean video with that fantastic yell, and analysts have through the years claimed that that scream caused Howard Dean to lose the presidential election. But that is fallacious reasoning, because there might be lots of other reasons he lost the election. For instance, the media coverage he was given afterward that was constantly showing everyone this scream, or the fact that many reports say he had a poor campaign strategy, or even just the fact that maybe other candidates were just better at campaigning. Just because he lost the election after the scream doesn't mean that the scream is the thing that caused him to lose the election. That's a post hoc. Now, causal fallacies happen a lot. So if you suspect a causal fallacy, the question to ask is, are there any other reasonable explanations for this occurrence? So for instance, ice cream causing murder? Probably not likely. Is there another explanation why ice cream and murder tend to happen around the same time? Now, let's look at just one more fallacy, which we saw in that DirecTV commercial. So if your cable company puts you on hold, one thing leads to another, you end up in a roadside ditch. Obviously, you don't want to end up in a roadside ditch, so you don't want to get put on hold by your cable company, so you should switch to DirecTV. Now, obviously, that is a silly argument, and they know it, but it's a perfect example of a very real fallacy, the slippery slope. So, you know when you just toss a snowball at the top of a hill, and it's super harmless, and then it rolls down the hill and grows like 50 times bigger and takes out a small town? That's the slippery slope. It's saying that this one minor thing is inevitably going to lead to this huge, terrible, awful thing, and so you shouldn't do that one minor thing. We see this all the time. We see it in politics every single day. Parents and some teachers may use this to motivate their students. And in fact, we can even pull a slippery slope on ourselves. And you'll notice that the common denominator between all these things, what is it? It's fear. All of these arguments are fearful of something terrible happening because of this one other thing. So if someone gives you an argument and you're suddenly starting to freak out because you're going, I don't want that to happen to me, stop a second and think, is that really likely to happen? Or are there other things that are more likely to happen? So for instance, if you ask a girl to the dance and she says no, sure, you might end up alone forever. But more likely, she'll say no, you'll be sad for a while, she'll date your best friend and that'll be a bummer, and then you'll get over it after like 2 years. I'm fine, leave me alone. So if you have any questions, don't forget to post them on Google Classroom, not about my past relationships, please. And let's do one final takeaway exercise before we go. So for this exercise, I have given you 2 events, and I've drawn a conclusion that one of them is causing the other. What I want you to do is to come up with 3 other possible, reasonable causes for why Jonah got a high-paying job after graduation. 3 causes besides the fact that he went to Harvard, and we'll discuss those in class. In the meantime, have a good night and stay